everyone. Well, everybody who is either watching this recorded or everyone who is going to hopefully come on, because last time I did this last Tuesday, there was lots and lots of interaction and it was really good. So I thought while I'm waiting here as my daughter's off at football, then I can just take a bit of time and say hello. So the drive of tonight's video is to ask questions and to ask you as the audience and those watching the videos that I'm posting, what is it that you would like to know about? And I'm thinking, is there a way that somehow you can actually put a title to this? Or is there a way of doing this? Ooh, look, there are lots of different filters that you can put on. Oh, we could go all black and white. Excuse me while I play around. Oh my goodness. Excuse me while I play around with these. Anyway, we'll just stick back to the normal one. Okay, so we had one person and that one person has disappeared. So the drive of tonight's live is that I'm asking you, what is it that you would like to see videos about? Now, obviously, I'm talking predominantly about watercolor and ink, but also it can be about acrylics, it can be about etching, it can be about linoprint, it can be about oil, it can be about charcoal, it can be about water-soluble charcoal. We could talk about watercolor pencils, watercolor blocks. We could talk about tinted charcoal. I learned about neutral color, which is pretty cool. I'd never really heard of that one before. And we had another person on and they went off. So we're looking for people to come on, have a bit of banter, talk about what's going on with your day, and also answer the question, what is it that you would like to see videos about in regard to watercolor? So please type it in and we'll read it out and we'll discuss it, and hopefully we can get a little bit of momentum going with these ad hoc lives and see if there are others that can join us. If not, and I post this in the end, this part could be incredibly boring. But we've got two people now. Hello to the two people who are on. So tonight, what I'm asking the question is, what would you like to see in regard to painting and art on this channel? Because that would be pretty helpful. So far we've covered about layers with watercolor. We have covered mixing paint. We have covered the painter with a plan. We have looked at, well, we've drawn outside. We've looked at watercolor pencil. We had two and we lost one. So do chip in there. Any comments that you have, please comment away. I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts, and I shall throw out my question again in a moment if I see any more little people coming on here. So hopefully you have had a good Wednesday. We are getting very near to Easter now. Hopefully you're going to get some time off. So for the one person who's watching, do type in. Let's have a conversation. That would be tremendous. I was watching Toby's video today about the etcher pack, which was pretty interesting. You can go down a bunny hole looking at different equipment and things. I had a go with, what did I have a go with? I tried masking fluid for the first time actually there on Monday. One of the ladies Judith, who was on here before, had lent me a little bit of masking fluid, so I haven't gone any further with that painting yet, but I'm eager to see what masking fluid is like. We now have 3 people. Hello, 3 people. So tonight's question is, hello Mark. Tonight's question is, we've got our first person interacting, yes. First, the question is, what videos would you like to see in regard to watercolor and ink? Or it can be about acrylic, or it can be about oil pastel, normal pastel, pro markers, fine liners, Inktense pencils, brushes. We could actually probably do a whole video in regard to flat edge brushes, the beautiful flat edge brush. So Mark, what would you like to see videos about? There's a whole host of cars that are now driving past me as I waffle on here. What's your night painting yesterday? Loved it. Thank you so much, Mark. It's a really interesting way of doing it and playing with whole layers, isn't it? Just you have to isolate the areas where you don't want the sort of darker, the kind of the night aspect of it to be, and then it causes everything to pop, which is really pretty cool. We have a person number 4. Shall I throw out my question again? My question was, what would you like to see videos about in regard to watercolor and ink, or it could be acrylic, or yeah, the layers tip. How it's crazy, isn't it? Hi, Nicole. So the layers tip is massive, because actually that whole just putting one on top of the other, top of the other, top of the other, and then also bringing the strategy to it as well, just thinking it through as to what you're going to do when. And so much of what I have seen in regard to like watercolor classes or people teaching about watercolor seems to be wet on wet, and this excuse me, uncontrollable element of letting it all kind of bleed in together, when I don't like that. I prefer to isolate the layers and layer it up and build a picture. So they interact, guys. How's your day going, Nicole and Mark? Do you like the rear light that is just lighting my eyes there with the red? Have you been painting recently? If so, what have you been painting? We could actually do one about discussing subject matter. That's a good idea. What is your favorite subject matter? Your day's been okay? Yeah, I mean, my day was pretty good. I finished my other job there for a week and a bit, so I'll have a bit more time, which is nice. And as a family, our routines change a bit. JF, hello there. Watching from Italy. tremendous. Can't actually hang around, but I'd like to know more about using inks. I haven't used them yet for painting. Now, do you mean like Unipens pens? Like what type of ink you're going to use in a pen? Do you mean like Indian inks? What? Just elaborate just a tad for me. I know you can't hang around, but if you could elaborate, that would be tremendous. Mark, do you do any mixed media like watercolor and markers? I think Toby did a comparison video recently. Yes, I believe he did. I have played about. I have a friend who, when she's doing watercolors, tends to add in a little bit of colouring pencil to it, and I've done that on a few paintings which I really liked. So I could certainly do that. Also, whenever I'm painting with acrylic, I would tend to overlay it with oil pastel, and that works really well. So that whole mixed media element has been a little bit of a leap for me, but I really, really enjoy it. And it was a bit like just feeling permission to get into that. We've now 7 people. Hello, 7 people. So the question for tonight's video is, what would you like to see videos about? And I'll not narrow it down because I've waffled there for a while. Nicole says, I painted gnomes, a girl with green skin, 2 landscapes and an angel. So I tried a few new things. Oh, very good. And is this just for yourself, or is it for a commission, or do share a bit more? JF, using inks with a brush like the Winsor & Newton coloured inks. Oh, never done that. So that would be a new one on me then. Just to play about with those inks and see. Yeah, certainly I'd be up for giving that a go. It'd also be really interesting to do that for the first time and give a realistic video as to what that looks like and how that turns out, and see where that goes. Is that something that you've done a little bit of? You said there, just checking. Oh, you said you haven't used them for painting, so that would be something nice to try. So do share more. What would you like to see? Do you want one about papers? One about types of pens? I mean, really like the idea of doing a video just solely about the joy of a flat edge brush. Nicole, just for me, I usually do landscapes, but I'm trying new things. I hear you. I don't really do people. I normally say, from a commercial point of view, no pets, no people. But I also enjoy trying pets a bit and trying people, so I hear you. And Mark, well, I got a set of oil pastels recently, so wouldn't mind seeing something with that. Now, I've done some with oil pastel on actual soft pastel paper, which was really quite interesting because you get a nice effect on something that isn't white. But they are fantastic for overlaying on acrylic or even oil, but it takes forever for oil to dry, which is a bit of a bummer. Hazel T. Blackmore, ink tense in situ, likes perhaps as a plane travel activity. Well, wouldn't that be lovely to be hopping on a plane to be able to do that? That would be pretty cool. But the ink tints are phenomenal for travel. Mark, I painted some tulips for your mum the other day, but I've been focused on wet practice this week. Right? Okay, interesting. Not painted. I've done them in charcoal years ago. So let me see. What was that in regard to? Ah, okay. So landscapes. No one do landscapes or try new things. So is that you haven't painted landscapes, but you have done them in charcoal a long time ago? Yeah, I mean, wet on wet. I don't like wet on wet. So it's not something I do because I don't really like it. Oh, you mean people? Yeah, people are tough. And I'm not really good enough to do, and I don't mean that in some insecure, lacking confidence way. It's just really not my thing. But I don't mind twiddling at them the odd time. And I did one of C.S. Lewis that came out really well. And I've done a few others that I've been happy with, but very rarely. So to be honest, wet on wet, yes. Wet on wet, I suppose I don't, it's really not my style. Although in one of the classes I was doing, we were talking about doing skies and controlling the likes of the blue around something. And then if you're doing, those big fluffy cumulonimbus clouds, there I got it right. You could have like a blue around it, and then in a controlled way have an area of the cumulonimbus where you are just dropping in some Payne's grey or ivory blacks, or those kind of grey browns, all those kind of tones, which I think can work well. And I like the odd time where you're dropping in, say, a darker pigment on paper that is just slightly wet, so it's going to bleed ever so slightly in a controlled way. But I find the wet on wet pretty frustrating too, Mark. Mark, I like Toby's style of wet on wet, but that's about it. Yeah, Toby has this lovely, fresh, very like permissive in the sense of you can do it too, way of painting, which is great. Nicole says, I love wet on wet, it's my favourite. I'm trying with markers, more drawn with watercolor highlights. So, Nicole, wet on wet is your thing. And it's great that we all love different things. And I think as well, the pushing the boundaries, like you were saying, Nicole, about doing different things, I think is great. But then also knowing I'm very aware there's a street light here, so I'm trying to keep my head forwards. But also knowing then what, like certainly for me, I wouldn't feel like qualified or skilled enough or have enough experience to be teaching others how to do people, but yet there's other things I'd be happy to. Yeah, you love the flow and probably the serendipity and unpredictability of the wet on wet. Yeah, I get that. So what else would you like to see? Have we got any oil painters or acrylic painters or printers there online watching at the minute? I have a little etching press, which is great. Oh, the white ink and the night painting was also great. You prefer that over gouache? I have, here's a confession, I'm 44 and I have never ever used gouache. I would say gouache would probably be pretty effective, but I like how it sort of stays on brand. I don't like that language, but you know what I mean. Kind of stays on brand really for me to use the white on white. Buildings and street scenes, absolutely, Nicole. Now that is right up my street. I effectively market myself as doing areas and architecture, so that really is up my street. So I hear you. They will buildings videos will follow suit. I'd like to, when the weather changes, it's still really very cold here, so when the weather changes I would really like to move into doing videos outside. And I know Toby has started to do that a bit. I don't know how he did it in these temperatures. It's really cold. So Nicole, yes, no problem. I think I could help you there. Mark, I was thinking of getting gouache, but then I saw your use of ink and I'm reconsidering now. the poor gouache sellers are going to miss out on a sale. I've never really understood gouache other than that it seems to be like everything mixed with white. So JF, I'm very much a spontaneous grabbing the bull by the horns artist, caring for a 90-year-old bedridden dad-in-law, a 90-year-old fragile mother-in-law, so time is of the essence. I hear you. And the thing that I love about watercolor in particular is you can pretty much do it anywhere and it's quick and it's not that messy. Whereas when I'm doing acrylic or oil, I have my studio, so I have my easel really that's kind of dedicated to the acrylic or oil and larger canvases and things. So, but it's more effort, whereas you just flip open the watercolors and off you go. Well, good on you for painting. Often sketch once in front, pen, line, and then color. Yeah, that's great. I think there's something about recording the places, and the places that are even kind of less sexy, if you know what I mean. The places that we're just seeing in our everyday life. There's something about I did photography and did fine art photography, and when you lift something from your daily life and effectively frame it, either by putting it on a screen or like printing it and framing it, it really causes us to notice what we maybe don't notice. Mark says street signs is a great suggestion, Nicole. I second that. Street scenes, yeah, street scenes, I hear you. No, Mark, street signs would be fun. Street signs. Yeah, I suppose it could be. These are all great though. I'm going to have my pen in the car. So I'm going to start writing these down. This would be good. And then I can keep an actual working list with me. Okay, so so far we have got street scenes. We had oil pastels. All right, let me look through and see what we've got. Ink tents. Ink tents, probably plein air or plein air. See what I did there? Okay, inks with a brush. Let's see what else we've got along here. Mixed media, like watercolors and markers. I was thinking I definitely have a video in me about pro markers. Really, really love pro markers. So I'm gonna add that one in myself. Using the white ink is fun on like brown card and things like that, but you have to try and get a non-absorbent surface just so that it does not go and really, really suck in. Okay, so these are great, guys. Anything else that you're thinking? Just want to have a quick read through here to make sure that I'm not missing anything. Great. No, I think I've got everything there. So that's brilliant. So anything? Oh yes, the other thing that I would like to show at some point is using Procreate, and the danger, I suppose, at the minute where we are in the earth is with the whole AI thing. And there was someone recently who I had followed on Instagram who was, doing here's mine and then here's what AI produces, and I have zero interest in that. I am an artist and I want to create, and I love seeing other humans create. So I'm not really interested as to what AI can come up with, but I appreciate that for using the likes of Procreate, then that can be quite concerning. But anyway, apart from that, Procreate I have found to be fantastic on iPad. So doing a video about that would be great. Non-dominant hand art is great for listening up. I really like continuous line for listening up, but that would be fun. Non-dominant hand art. Good if you're ambidextrous. The other thing, just using different media, I find fascinating, and I love hearing about different types of paints and things. I had been using, or I got Scrawlbox a couple of times. SCRAWLR box, and they oh, Mark, you said I do wildlife. Yeah, I do. I really enjoy doing things like that. Thanks very much. Thank you for your input, JF. Really appreciate it. Hugs right back to you. Nicole, I ordered hot press paper to give it a try. I hear it's very different. Yeah, you just haven't got the same bump, so it's just a little bit different. Non-dominant hand art. So yes, I'm going to put down. So I've got down Procreate. What about printing and things like that, like lino and etching and monoprint? They are all great, and also screen printing is really cool. But screen printing, as in having a screen and then just painting onto the screen and dragging the squeegee across it is so cool. The effects that you get are absolutely fantastic. So to anybody who has just joined, not sure whether there are, we've got 7 people online at the minute, but to anybody who has just joined, what I'm asking the question tonight is, what would you like to see videos of? That would be pretty cool. If you would like to share those things, that would be tremendous. So I'm gonna just be quiet for a second and see what anybody might say. Nicole, I like an explanation on jelly plates. Like, why is it jelly? I have never, ever heard of a jelly plate. My goodness. There's a research question. A jelly plate? Maybe if I got into masking fluid, that would be interesting. What about soft pastels? Or what else would be good? Well, okay, so I've got pro markers down there. Definitely pro markers are a lot of fun. I check Scrollbox for the stock clearance sales. Sometimes get some good things for a tenner or less. Yes, I noticed that too, that actually they seem to clear out. They use them for printing. Oh, right, okay, I think I understand. Okay, so the likes of printing anyway would spark a little bit of interest in terms of lino print. You can do reduction lino or just simple black and white lino. How you cut it, how you work it. The wee press is cool, but also you can do it with the back of a wooden spoon that I did for a few years. Types of paper to use, not that kind of thing. Wayne says he's just woken up. It's 6:30 in Australia. Hi Wayne, morning. Like drawing old machines, industrial stuff, cranes, tractors, boats and stuff. Ooh, good suggestion. Hold on, I take this down. Old machines, industrial stuff. Now we have Harland and Wolff cranes, which are very cool and very famous in regard to Northern Ireland. If you've never heard of them, Google Harland and Wolff, and that shipyard, that's where the Titanic was built. So those cranes I've drawn many, many times. If you look at my Instagram, Woodward's Watercolors, or my Etsy, which is not a shameless plug to spend your money, but the Etsy's actually really good as a gallery. So if you go on and look at the prints, you'll see a print that I have of the cranes. Cranes, tractors, boats and stuff. Cranes, tractors and boats. Okay. Nicole says, I would need help with those industrial things. Yeah, and I think that, there are, like I said, you really love the wet on wet, Nicole. And there's things that we love to paint and really work for us. And where we go wrong is we compare ourselves to others who find the stuff that we find the stuff that we find difficult really easy. We think, oh no, I'm crap. When in actual fact, it's just that we're different. Because I love buildings and perspective and all that kind of stuff. Really, really enjoy it. I know for others, they really don't like them. Okay, this is great stuff. So anybody else, keep them coming. What about in terms of drawing water, like sea and lakes and harbours, and which would include boats, Wayne? We nod to the boats. Or drawing trees and trees. I'm yawning a lot. I was up early. Cool, have heard of them. We'll check it out. Yeah, great. Nicole Parent, I do trees, rocks, water, mountain, skies, but struggle with mechanical. Yeah. So you're just more used to doing the landscapes. So yeah, drawing different types of water and trees, and yes, and I was saying that I think that trees are fantastic, especially when you pop in that element about the layering up, because when you do a tree, putting down one layer, letting it dry, another layer, let it dry, another. Typically, when you get the 3 layers with the likes of a tree in a background, then it just looks really, really great. These are brilliant. Keep them coming, people. Just checking to see had I any messages there, and it's starting to get really cold, and I don't really want to start the car because it's sitting at an angle. It was telling me the fuel was empty because of the angle, so I'm just sitting here huddling in tight. So yes, I mean I will be doing videos on etching, printing, all sorts of different things like that. Tips for painting water would be fantastic. Go on a family trip to the Cotswolds in August. Yeah, definitely. Wayne says definitely struggle with drawing water harbour scenes. Yeah. And all I can show you is how I would tackle it. But at the end of the day, I guess that's all anybody can ever really show you, how they would do it and how they do it in a style that suits them and they've got proficient in using. So it would be in my style, and I can guarantee you that there would be a flat edge brush. If you are following me or subscribing to the channel, and you're enjoying the videos, then if you can get yourself a flat edge brush, I use them so much and there's so much you can do with them that it's really worthwhile to do that if you can. So just recommend that. I think I wrote down there, did I write down about continuous line? I had non-dominant hand art, and I'm going to put a side to that of continuous line. It's getting the balance of sort of more technical videos, you know, like I mean, I suppose the layering video really is the technical, and the painter with the plans are technical, but then having ones like was last night's technical about the night scenes. Maybe it is kind of, but just also being able to paint. I would love to do a live of just painting. I am an extrovert and really enjoy the interaction with you all 6 of you. I'm not sure how many have been on, but I really enjoy the interaction. So painting live, I used to do them on Instagram, but I find that Instagram's just so poor now in regard to you know, the exposure that artists get. But I still use it and still enjoy it. You know, Instagram's been great, and I've really you know, I've sold a lot of art and learned a lot and had a lot of contacts through Instagram, which has been brilliant. So great. Okay, well, I'm going to pull this to a close in a wee minute, because been on now for nearly half an hour. So really appreciate all of your input. The numbers seem to be going up a bit between like 5 and 7 and 8 here. So to anybody who's just come on, the question that I'm asking is, what would you like to see videos on? So I'm going to give it another couple of minutes, and then I'm going to go, and you can all get on with your day or your afternoon or your evening, depend on where you are in the world. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit more warmth than we are. But that's the question. So anybody who has more, you just, no, Dan, I'm still on. If you keep me talking, I'll stay on. So the question, as I said, would be, what would you like to see videos on? And Mark said, live painting would be fun. We could ask questions as you draw paint. Yes, and I really enjoy that. And I always think when you enjoy something, it comes across. So getting to do that would probably be good. The only thing I'm conscious of as well is, and maybe it's about sort of building up the channel and peppering it with the likes of lives and shorter videos and longer videos and shorts and things like that. So brush pen sketching, brush pen. Help me out, Dan. Brush pen. Is that like with like pro markers and things like that, or tell me what that is? I know that on the pro markers they have some brush pen settings. Trying to think what else I have. The stampers. Oh, you could probably do Pentel brushes. Right, let's have a look at that. Pentel brush sketching. I'm writing all these down in case you wonder why I go quiet. Yeah, I have Pentel or Pentel, whatever way you pronounce it, Pentel oil pastels. They're very good, and they were really very inexpensive. So that's another one for me to, excuse me. That's another one for me to research along with the jelly plates that Nicole was talking about earlier. Ink pen with a brush tip. Ooh, that's very interesting. I always learned, the last time I did a live last week, An impromptu live, yes, and Wayne, that's a really good comment and question. Ink, so I just want to write this down. Ink pen with a brush. Tip. What I have done is I have some calligraphy brushes, not expensive ones, just got them off Temu. I used some sort of, or not some sort of, some Indian ink, and the pot was drying up a little bit. So it was fun just drawing with that, actually. I find that so helpful, just, you know, having that kind of courage to jump in, I find really, really helpful. Wayne said, is there any way you could schedule your lives? Just a fluke, I woke up and picked up the iPad. I would set an alarm so I didn't. Oh, that's really kind, Wayne. I'm glad you find that much value. Dan, thanks. I'm glad you loved the night scene painting. Hopefully it just gives you another tool in your toolkit, really, to use, knowing that you can tackle a night painting. I'm so reluctant to switch this engine on in case I totally run out. Trying to think what else. Yeah, but yes, and I think if I was doing a painting live, I would schedule it more so that it would have good warning. And when Toby and I were in the process of organising another live together, but when we do our lives, obviously they're more scheduled, so I hear you about that. Nicole, the different kinds of ink, curious about that, but not enough to buy all the different kinds in different colours. Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I know that you can buy a set of the Winsor & Newton ones, and I think they're about £40 or so. So if Winsor & Newton are out there and fancy sending me some, that would be tremendous. Not that that's massively expensive, but I would need to know that I'm going to use them. And I find that I love the Winsor & Newton. I use the Winsor & Newton Indian ink, and I have a dip pen. And I find that I find them so good, such a quality ink. They're waterproof, and they're just great to use. And I love the wee doodle of the spider that's on the front of it, and just like it. I have the white ink, as you saw last night in the night painting, but apart from that, no, I don't have any others. So we're now at 32 minutes. Can you believe it? You've all kept me talking. Any other? This is the final call for ideas for videos. If you would like to throw them in the next couple of moments. Apart from that, I am going to sign off in a wee second. Dan Bolton, I stare across like Victoria, BC, British Columbia in the dark every morning, but haven't been able to capture the scene. If you have a tripod and a camera that can capture the different lengths of exposure, you hopefully would be able to do that. I mean, with the technology with iPhones now, it's crazy. Nicole Perrin, waterproof, interesting, so you can use them with watercolors. Yes, and that's why I use those Indian inks, because they actually, and I love it when it gets all sort of splattery and messy, because it almost gets kind of shiny, you know. Okay, everyone, so thank you so much again. I so enjoy these impromptu lives, but I hear you, Wayne, about scheduling them, so I will keep that in mind and hopefully do that. Dan, thanks very much. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you to Mark. Thank you to Wayne, and thank you to everybody else who has inputted tonight, and somebody else has just joined. I'm trying to get off this thing. Anybody else? Any comments? Anything you'd like to see on the channel? It's going, and it is going, and I think it should be gone, but I secretly don't want to go. I'm secretly quite enjoying this. So thank you to everybody for coming online. Thanks for the comments and subscribing. I seriously appreciate it, and for all the encouragement. So hope you have a good next part of your day, whatever next part of the day that you're actually in. And hopefully I will see you soon. So bye for now, everybody. Bye.